Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where, fair warning, I'm currently rocking 101 degree fever due to, I think this is some sort of a flu or something. Hopefully there won't be any other episodes in this series affected by it. This episode, I might be a little bit loopy. We'll see how that ends up going. For now, I'd like to hop into engineering. I don't think we have an engineering upgrade in progress. We do. Okay, I am apparently loopier than I thought. Fantastic. What is that? Gamma pod? Okay. Now, I know that we did want to navigate to a slightly more difficult planet. So we're going to do that. And where do we want to go? We've got a travel contract to go here. That's only one skull here. Half skull? Half skull. We're currently on a 2 skull world. That's a 5 skull and they're red, so I think that's actually a 10 skull world. Yeah, maybe somewhere like Genoa, but even that's probably a little on the hard side. I'm looking for a world that has green skulls here. And somewhere between like 3 and 4 of them. Actually, this might not be bad. We can head out here. That'll only take 12 days. Let's go. Phenomenal.
Ready to go over.
So we'll tick forward here. We have our financial report. That is expected. We were always going to hit that. We're paying $44,000 for our mech parts. Okay, that's not too bad, really. We have a lot of our work completed at this point. Work on the Argo upgrade Gamma pod is now done. Now, I wanted to hop into the mech bay and get this grasshopper going as well. Whoa, okay. We should probably do that while we're traveling. That would make sense. So we're going to hop in here and see about getting this replaced. What do we want this to be? Well, this is going to be a replacement for, like, the Wraith. So it's a, like, heavy cavalry mech, right? So we could definitely ditch the jump jets, although we could keep them. Arguably, maybe we should for a cavalry mech. For the moment, I'm just going to strip all of the equipment. And we're going to max out that armor. What is the default engine core? 280. I think we'll stick with that as our engine core for the moment. And we can see a number of support weapons, laser hardpoints, and this one ballistic, and this one missile hardpoint in the head. I don't love that being a missile hardpoint in the head. We can definitely take a look at what we have for missiles. Apparently that sorting doesn't work. We definitely have missile weapons. We could run something like an SRM-6, but that takes 2 slots. Obviously, we can't fit that in there. An SRM-4, we could. Is there anything else that we would like to put in there? Obviously, a Thunderbolt is too big. A Mars is way too big. We could go for a Rocket Pack 10. That's too big as well, though. We could go for a tandem rocket. I think that an SRM-4 is about what we'd be looking at. Now, we'd like this to be a close-in weapon, ideally something like this AC-20. We're going to run into some weight issues doing this, but I would not mind that at all. Do we have any ammo for the AC-20? That's a negative. No, wait, we do. Right here. Okay, so we have a double AC-20. That's fine. And then we could go for an SRM ammo, just a singular ton of SRM ammo. That gives us 5 tons to work with. Now, we can definitely toss in things like medium lasers or pulse lasers. That would not be terrible. We could slot in this medium laser here. That means that this AC-20 is in this slot here. That's maybe not the best thing in the world, but we'll see. We can put in a medium laser here, a pair of medium lasers here, and a medium laser here. Now we're going to have massive heat issues if we do this. We do need an external heatsink, so we do get a free heatsink here. We may want to upgrade this to double heatsinks. We don't have any double heatsinks, though. So a free heatsink would go about here. That would actually not be... Oh, right, this is our engine heatsink that we could have. So we don't have any free heatsinks. What's our heat delta right now? 33 heat. So if we wanted to run something like this in terms of weight, we would be looking at a lot of heatsinks. Something about like that. That might be a little too much. That's a heat delta of 0 heat. Okay. So that's ideal right there. We'll see what that ends up looking like. We can toss in ferrofibrous armor. I don't know if we have endosteel structure. We can take a look. We don't. We could put an XL engine in. I don't know if we'd have space for that. We could. How much movement do we have in this thing? 4 and 6? That's not a lot of movement, to be honest. That's still 2 tons overweight, to be clear, as well. So that's a lot of weight here. We do have this engine heatsink here that we could definitely put in, and that would allow us to remove one of these heatsinks, like this one. That's fine. We can definitely do that, but that still puts us 2 tons overweight. I would love to have... I don't really want to multi-track FCS in here. I guess we could go with, like, breaching. It's not great, but we could do it. Beyond that, I would love to get a bigger engine core in there. I don't think that's going to be a thing either. We don't really have any cockpits other than a basic. So what do we want to do about this weight issue? We could strip off a little bit of armor. That is an option. We could also downgrade the medium lasers. If we did that, if we took out, say, this medium laser and this medium laser, and just leave these 3 medium lasers, that puts us at a significant heat delta. So now suddenly we don't need these heat sinks, right? So we can get rid of that one. We can get rid of this one. That allows us to get rid of several more of these, 4 in total. So that would allow us to put something like this in there. That's a heat delta of -3 heat there still. So then we could continue to put these medium lasers on. That puts us now negative, but we've got 4 tons to work with, right? So we can absolutely put in... Yeah, these are all damaged. We can absolutely put in an additional heat sink, say, here. That puts us at a heat delta of 3 heat. So we can put in an additional heat sink over here, giving us 2 tons to work with, in theory, and a heat delta of 0 heat. So if we were to put in another medium laser over here, we'd be ditching 1 total medium laser, and then we would put in a heat sink over here, like that. We'd have a little bit of weight that we could drop, and that would end up dropping, like, just that 1 point in this right leg. Actually, maybe over here because of that SRM ammo. I'd rather lose the SRM ammo than the AC-20 ammo if we're going to lose anything. So we don't want to lose anything on this side, ideally. So something along the lines of that would work. This would be relatively heat efficient. It's a little slow. It's pretty durable, and it does a lot of damage, in theory. This is going to cost 1.8 million and be 25 days to get that online. But we'll do that. It's mostly the XL engine. Mostly the XL engine. So the Rifleman is being worked on, as is the Grasshopper. We're still traveling here, so we'll keep going for a couple of days. And we're going to have to deploy basically as soon as we get to our destination here. No doubt about that. So we need to make some money back. We just spent a lot of money there. Everybody wins? We'll order Brick, or actually authorize Brick to continue, but on our terms. So Brick is now rebellious, and we gain 50,000. Okay, well, that's not necessarily ideal. Cool. So we'll continue to proceed here about 3 days. And we have arrived, so we don't need to visit the store. Do we tick forward the 2 days for getting Coach back? Let's do it. So let's tick forward just 2 days here. That'll be fine. And now we can see about where we want to deploy. So what do we got available here? This should be significantly tougher. So we probably want to stick to the easy end until we get this figured out. 2.6 million here for a battle in an urban area. Okay. Comstar forces. So that's potentially a lot of enemies. I kind of want something that we can just in and out quick and make some money. That would be ideal here. Okay. So this would be a battle against Steiner. This is maybe not a bad idea here. This one might be a little bit better. It's a defend base. That'll take a while. Okay, so we'll do something along the lines of this. Probably straight down the middle. Yeah, straight down the middle. So that'll be okay. We are going to deploy this pretty much as is here, except we want Brick in the hoplite here, obviously. Otherwise, this should be fine. Let's deploy this. Darius thinks it'll be hard. He may or may not be right. We're definitely in a harder location. Let's see how this goes. I'll see you guys after the loading screen. Okay, so here we are all loaded up, and let's see what we've got. So we know that we're going to have an allied lance, and we're supposed to use them to hit the enemy. We'll see. Once we've cleared the enemy lances, regroup at this location for extraction. Okay. Well, we're just going to probably race straight up the hill here. Okay, what do we got going on here? So are these our allies up over here? I'm not sure who these are. Where are the Steiner forces? They are here. So we probably just want to head up the hill at this point. So we would want to spawn somewhere around here or so. And then just head up the hill as much as we can. Unfortunately, this is not a great spot for our fire support. But let's see what our enemies are. So we immediately see an Owens, a Marauder. That's a pretty good one. New contacts, probably the Steiner Lance. Okay, we've got another Lance in the AO. Yeah, this guy isn't listening to comms at all. Okay, so we see a Crusader, a Marauder, we see an Owens. This is our ally up over here. He's got an Orion, an Apollo, an Avatar, and a second Avatar. So we see a Firestarter, that Crusader, Orion, Black Knight, Marauder, and Orion. So this is pretty heavy, all things considered. That said, they're kind of weak. So we have spawn protection at this point. We're going to sprint up as much as we can with our Centaur, and mostly with everyone else, too. We're going to want to close in very rapidly here, broadly speaking. So there's 8 total enemies. And we should be able to eliminate them quite quickly, especially with our allied Lance here. So this Marauder is heading down towards us. I'm okay with that. Our Apollo is going to want to head up over this way. We're going to need to get into LOS, right? That is absolutely going to be a thing that we need to do. And we're going to have to start being able to chip down on these armors. They don't actually have that much armor. So that's all okay. We can move up with our Wraith, which of course is going to be replaced with the Grasshopper fairly soon. That Orion is moving down to engage us as well. Our Hoplite can position here for the moment. We will start having it fire artillery fairly soon. Here's actually a really good spot to fire artillery right now. So that'll be fine. The question is, just how much are they going to fight us versus fighting the Merrick Lance? So we'll see how that ends up going. Our crossbow is going to position out over here. We don't have cover out over here. We are able to dip into this cover, but that costs us our LOS. So we'll see how this ends up going.
Good to go.
Our Trebuchet can position out over here, I think. Yeah, here will do.
Let's move.
Okay, and then finally our Black Knight. So the Black Knight is going to head out over this way. It actually manages to dip into cover there, but we're going to move it out of there pretty quickly. And then finally our Shadowhawk. So we'll position our Shadowhawk about here.
On the move, full speed.
Excellent. Okay, next up is our Centaur. So we can position up over here and start hitting these guys. I'd like to get into rear arc. Unfortunately, I don't see a rear arc here. That'll be a next round sort of thing. We can start chipping down this Marauder, and these hit odds are in the category of okay. They're not phenomenal, and we're going to be hitting it on its, I would say strong side, but its armor is good. It's this internal structure. Okay, well, let's go ahead and fire on this Marauder here and start chipping down its armor on that side. That'll do for now. And we'll see who they end up moving next. That is going to be this Black Knight.
They've got a sensor lock on me.
It sensor locks our Centaur, which is very rude. And then fires on our crossbow, which is also rude, but it misses. So that's absolutely fine for the moment. Okay, next up is a couple of Merrick mechs. Let's see what they end up doing. They're going to be engaging over here. The Owens, Marauder, Crusader. So this Avatar is firing on that Crusader. It gets a little bit of armor damage there. Okay, adds a little bit of heat. Nothing too concerning. Phase 19 is this guy. That's this Owens. And we'll see what it ends up doing. Probably moving in over here and trying to, like, backstab some of these, but honestly, I don't think that Owens is going to be very effective at that. Yeah, it just moves down over here. Okay, next up is going to be the Merricks again, and this Orion is going to be moving. That's a Gauss rifle into that Crusader. Okay, it's actually doing quite a bit of damage to that Crusader at this point. Yeah, that Crusader is nearly cored. So that's going very well. It's got an XL engine in there, so it should die fairly quickly, in theory, once they get through that armor a little bit. Avatar moves up and also goes for that Crusader. That's a lot of damage onto that Crusader. Structure exposure now. I like it. So next up is going to be this Marauder, as well as something else. Phase 17, it'll be this guy. This Orion here. So the Orion is potentially dangerous to us. the Marauder is moving down. Okay. This will now be the Orion. Unfortunately, they get to move both of those, but who are we going to be moving here? It's going to be our hoplite. Okay. That's reasonably fine. So I'd like to position the hoplite about here.
Location
The question is, do we want to fire our Thumper artillery up over here with our Centaur right there? If we're going to fire it, I think in direct fire mode. Do it.
I'm on it.
Okay, we got a little bit of damage into that fire starter. Not too bad. Not too bad. I think we also may have damaged this Orion slightly. No, I don't think we did. So next up is that Apollo, and it's going to continue to go for that Crusader. The Crusader probably dies then. Yeah, actually, it absolutely does. So that's fantastic. They managed to focus that thing down very quickly indeed. Now, we mostly haven't gotten to move yet. Mostly. So phase 16 is going to be this Orion here. It's going to position up over there and not do anything in particular. So that's absolutely fine. I wouldn't mind positioning our Apollo about here, but I want to fight, or rather, I want to fire on that Marauder. And this is within the minimum range. Do we have a better position to attack that Marauder? Maybe here.
Coordinates received.
Okay. Let's go ahead and fire on this Marauder from here. Okay, a little bit of damage to it. This is definitely not an ideal position. We need to get our mechs moved up through here. Unfortunately, we rolled very, very late in the move order. It's not actually a problem, but it will take a little bit to get this under control. So that Marauder just moved and didn't fire again, which is wild. We can position here and continue to hit the Marauder with our crossbow, and I absolutely love that choice.
Acknowledge.
Lot of not great shooting there, to be honest, but that's okay. We're still closing in on the Marauder, clearing our line of fire, but we're just softening it up. So that's all good for the moment. And our Centaur is going to be able to get in behind somebody over here. Who do we want to go behind is the question. All of these are decent rear arc attacks. I mean, there's that fire starter, which is going to be moving now, and the fire starter might actually be a pretty big threat to the Centaur. Questionable. I don't know why it would have moved there. That makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. We can position here and have rear arc on it with our MRMs, and I mean, our MRMs are, I think, better off being used on the Marauder here. So we can do something like this.
Copy that.
And continue to damage that Marauder. So for now, that's reasonably fine. Our Wraith is going to close in over here.
I'm going.
And we'll continue to hit the Marauder. Okay, we missed the Marauder with the PPC, but that's fine. We're definitely getting into reasonable range at this point. So we're going to move up our Trebuchet and continue to hit the Marauder. We're just focusing this thing down at this point. Injury resistance there. Sad. Next up is our Black Knight. I expect that the Black Knight is not really able to take a shot here. Yeah. Unfortunately, we've got too many mechs clogging up this choke point. But for now, that's reasonably fine. I'm going to take the Centaur up over here. And we have a rear arc shot on 3 different mechs positioning here. So we can fire on the Black Knight, we can fire on the Orion, or on the other Orion. And all of these would be fine. I think we go for the Black Knight here. Hit odds are far higher. Structure exposure, large laser destruction, engine heatsink crit, engine crit. Sadly, we didn't eliminate the Black Knight, but it did take a lot of damage there. It's actually down to only 1 weapon. That is noted. So next up is going to be phase 22 here. I'm not sure who moves in phase 22. The Owens. Okay, that's fine. It's moving down this way and firing on our Apollo. Whatever. It can do that all at once. So the Merrick Lance is going to probably move forward over here and start attacking this next unit, this Marauder. Okay, maybe it's going to chase the Owens. I don't love that choice, but whatever. The fact that it already eliminated a heavy up here is pretty decent, so we'll take that. That is a side arc shot on that Black Knight, but it is unsteady now. It's probably going to get to move phase 15. Okay. We're going to get to move a fair number of units before this Black Knight moves. So that's noted. This Marauder moves up, goes for our Trebuchet. It does get one PPC hit there.
Not much armor left in that location.
Ah, you're fine. Ish. I mean, you are the
Await your
Trebuchet.
command.
The Wraith is going to move up over here. I'm going to position here. We could go
Onward.
rear arc on this Orion. We could go for this Marauder. We could go side arc on this Black Knight. Any of those are, in my opinion, valid options here. I kind of like the rear arc on this Orion, though. Just soften it up. This is going to be a pretty big overheat, but I'm going to take it.
Firing all weapons.
Okay, so we softened that up.
The red line.
Oh, we failed the shutdown override. That's sad. They're going to be focusing on this Wraith, but that's probably quasi-okay. It is sad that we failed the shutdown override there. Okay, so that Merrick unit is doing, like, absolutely nothing of note. I would like to move forward with our crossbow here. Unfortunately, we don't get LOS, but we could absolutely fire on probably the Black Knight here. Let's just go ahead and light this guy up a little bit. There we go. We'll do a little bit of damage to him. We didn't have LOS, so we just had to take what our best hit odds were. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. The Orion is going to fire on this Black Knight as well. Pretty good shooting there, honestly. Doing some internal structure damage to that arm. So at this point, they are going to be moving this Marauder, and we'll see what they end up doing. They're probably going to focus this Wraith pretty hard. Be what I would do. Indeed. That's a fair amount of damage to that Wraith. No doubt about that. So the hoplite at this point can position somewhere like out over here.
Roger.
I kind of want to drop artillery on this Orion in artillery mode. Mediocre hit there, but we did splash damage both of these. Sure, we'll take that. Next up is our Trebuchet, which can position up over here. We can continue to hit the rear arc of this Orion, potentially. Or the side arc of this Black Knight, but I kind of want to hit that Orion at this point. So let's not fire our medium lasers due to heat. This is, of course, desert, but let's see what we get there. Ooh, SRM ammo explosion, and that is a dead Orion. I like it. So that's phenomenal. Next up is going to be this Black Knight moving, and also this Firestarter. We'll see what they decide to do. But we're definitely making solid progress here. No doubt about that. Firestarter runs off over here and goes for our Apollo. Okay. Gets almost no damage dealt there. That's absolutely fine. Next up is, of course, this Black Knight. It only has the one weapon left. So what exactly is it going to do? Fire on our Trebuchet. Okay, I don't care about that. So that's absolutely okay. Next up is our Shadowhawk. The Shadowhawk can position somewhere around here. We could fire on the Marauder. We could fire on the Black Knight. Either of these would be probably okay. Technically, hit odds are best on the Marauder. We're probably going to stray shot our mech here, but we can try this. We do crit the Gauss rifle in that Marauder. Twice. So it's very good that we almost have that Gauss rifle eliminated. It hasn't been able to utilize that. So that's very good. I didn't even realize it had a Gauss rifle, to be honest. So that's okay. Next up is going to be this Orion. We'll see what it does. Ooh. Okay. That AC-10 into the Black Knight there. A little bit painful, but we're okay for the time being.
Taking heavy hits, Commander.
Yeah, that's to be expected. So the Apollo is going to step forward here. We could fire on this Orion. We could fire on this Marauder or on the Black Knight. To be honest, hit odds are by far best on the Orion, but the Orion's probably going to die to rear arc attacks here very soon. So, I'm actually going to fire on the Black Knight here.
Targeting 4 with Alpha Strike.
That was all armor damage except one missile. That's a little unfortunate, but the armor on that Black Knight is getting very, very low. Next up is our Black Knight, which is going to want to head up around over here. I want to continue to fire on their Black Knight. Let's see what we got. Once again, all armor damage there. Remarkable. Okay, so next up will be probably their Owens, if I had to guess. In phase 23, who else would that be, other than the Owens? We don't actually know, but that's almost certainly who it is. Yeah. Firing on the Black Knight there, that's okay. Hitting all of those missiles, though, that's a little sad. Okay, next up is, of
I've
course,
got your
our
back.
Centaur. The Centaur is going to position over here or so, behind this Orion.
Good
And
burn.
we're going to get a big rear arc attack on the Orion. I don't think we kill it here, but we want to soften it up. Okay, so the Orion is indeed softened up. Yeah, that softened it a lot. So that's good. Our friend the Orion firing on this Black Knight, taking out that arm. Destroying its sword 4 ton. Not bad. Not bad at all there. And that Black Knight is stricken at this point. It has very little armor left. This Avatar doing absolutely nothing of note, but our Hoplite, where do we want to drop artillery at this point? The answer is on this Black Knight. I'm not going to fire the ER laser. We'll fire the rest of this, though.
Roger that.
Ooh, full-on miss there with the artillery. Pilot ejection, but we do get a knockdown. Okay, so our hoplite was knocked down. That's understood. Next up is going to be an allied unit. I'm not sure which one, but hopefully they'll be able to start working on some of these guys. Rear arc attack on that Orion, we already softened up. And actually, SRM ammo explosion into that mech is just dead. The plan was to get behind that and punch it in the rear arc, but apparently that's not necessary. So that's absolutely great. We've got this Firestarter here, this Owens here, and this Marauder. And that's a dual PPC variant of that
Standing by.
Marauder. So I want this guy eliminated as soon as we can. This is unobstructed LOS here, but this is absolutely going to be minimum range. For some reason, I wasn't thinking that this was the Apollo. I blame the 101 degree fever. We're going to fire on this Marauder. And we got a head hit there and soften up his armor a little bit. That'll be fine. Next up is the Apollo. That's fine. And we are going to move in our Shadowhawk. Now, this Marauder is softened up on mostly this left flank here. So I want to move in and kick it on this left flank and just do as much damage as we can here. Let's get this thing out of here. We do miss that melee attack. That's unfortunate. But that's a Gauss rifle explosion and one dead mech. I like it. So that's going reasonably well. We've got 3 enemies remaining at this point. We've got this Marauder as the only remaining actual threat. We have the Firestarter and the Owens. The Owens and the Firestarter are going to be potentially a little bit hard for us to catch. Especially as this guy runs away.
What's
Okay.
up, boss?
Let's position our crossbow about here. 30% hit odds, 5% hit odds, and 0.9% hit odds. Means that the Marauder is the obvious target.
Target
here.
acquired.
We'll just soften it up a little bit in this side arc. Looks good for now. And next up would be our Trebuchet, which actually has a direct LOS on this Owens. So we'll fire this. I don't expect too much out of this. We do get some armor reduction on the Owens. Not bad. How much of that hit the leg? A fair amount.
I'm
So
ready.
that's not bad. We can position the Black Knight
Move
here.
order
I don't
received.
want to fire up this way. I'm going to fire at the Owens, even though we're probably going to miss.
Engaging.
Internal damage on that Owens there. Structure exposure. I like it.
Commander,
Next up is our Wraith, which of course
Powered up.
needs to restart.
Here we go.
And that's all we've got there. So next would be our Centaur, which I want to sprint after this Firestarter. I
Roger.
don't expect
Full
that we're
throttle.
going to kill it here, but I'd like to at least take out this leg. I don't know if we'll succeed in that.
Watched your positioning better.
Yeah, that's very solidly mediocre there. It's a long ways away, so I'm not really expecting too much out of it. Okay, next up should be this Owens, and I would very much like to have eliminated this leg. Sadly, we didn't. We'll see what we can get out of that. Probably a good thing for artillery to do. Okay, moves out over here, fires on our Black Knight. No actual damage there, nothing too major. Next up, we have a couple of allied units, and I'd like to see this guy cross over here and start shooting at this Marauder. We'll see if he does. That's exactly what he does. Beautiful. It's an okay shot. Definitely not the best, but it'll do. And this Orion shooting also at that Marauder. Hitting it rear arc there. Almost making it unsteady, but the Marauder gets to move, I think, right now. Yeah, it gets to move right now. So we'll see what it ends up doing here. Okay, continuing to fire at that Wraith. We expected that. The Wraith is fine, though. No actual problem there.
Armor's getting stripped off.
Okay, next
I'm on
up
the
will be
heavy
our
fire.
crossbow, which can position up over here, has a direct LOS on this Marauder. Let's continue to hit its side arc in its weakened side. AC5 destruction, PPC destruction. That Marauder is a lot less of a threat now. Cool. So next up, of course, is a couple of Merrick units, and we'll see what they end up doing. That Apollo doing absolutely nothing, and finally this Avatar doing absolutely nothing. Okay. Next up will be this Firestarter. That's the only remaining unit that hasn't moved of theirs. We have a number that haven't moved yet, though. So the Firestarter continues to run away. I'm not shocked about that one.
Commander.
Next up is our Apollo, which is going to continue to hit this Marauder. This could easily destroy this Marauder.
Acknowledge.
Arm destruction there. Not a
Critical
torso
hit,
destruction, and I
Commander.
don't technically... Oh, pilot ejects. Okay, that'll do. We'll take it. Next up is our hoplite, and the hoplite can stand up here. At this point, what I want to do is I want to turn the hoplite over here,
Stance, Commander.
and I'm going to lob an artillery at this Firestarter. I don't expect too much out of it.
Attacking from position.
Okay, we missed. Sad, but it was worth a try.
Reporting. Negative damage.
We didn't get knocked down, though, so that's a good sign. So the Shadowhawk, at this point, can move up over here and have obstructed LOS of the Owens in the front arc. There's a small chance that we might destroy this leg, and so we'll take that. I don't think that worked. No, it did not. Sad, but it was worth a try.
Waiting for order.
The Trebuchet can move up over here as well. This is going to be indirect. So we have 1.9 and 0.9 on this Owens compared to... Actually, we can't get anywhere else. So I'm just going to brace and sink heat there.
Yes, Commander.
Our Wraith has, of course, taken a fair amount of damage here. And we're going to position up over here.
Position.
And we're going to fire at this Owens. Hit odds are low, but we'll take it. 18 more damage into that leg. It's a lower leg destruction. I believe there are still 2 hit points in that leg, which is very, very sad. Yeah, there's like 2 hit points there. 2 to 3.
Orders?
So the Black Knight is not really able to get into position here. We'll
Got it,
sprint up.
Commander.
Another dropship inbound to this location. Okay, that's
How can I help?
a lot. We'll position right about here and continue to hit the rear arc of this Firestarter. But we are running low on ammo. Yeah, that Firestarter is still a long ways away and just running straight away from us. But if there is another Lance coming in here, then I'm definitely going to have to put a cut in here. Which is unfortunate. I was hoping for this to be a quick one because of the whole, fever thing going on. But I guess we'll have to do it. Unfortunate. This Owens is just running around up here going for the Centaur. For now, that's fine. It should be pretty skylined at this point. In fact, these guys should be able to get an LOS on it. And so they are. Rear arc attack there, but that takes out the leg, and that means that Owens is significantly endangered. That's good. That's very, very good. Okay. Now, it is time to put a cut in here, since we've apparently got this hostile Lance coming in, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we'll get this one finished up, but this is absolutely turning into a clown show. No doubt about that. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.